The two deep men right now for them will be Swittenberg and Preet. Doing the honors for Upper Merion will be number 39, BJ Bridge.
Yeah. That's Swittenberg and Preet.
So everybody got their hot dogs, everybody got their sodas. We're ready for third quarter action. And we are underway. Bridge will go deep to Preet down in the corner. They'll go over his head. And it'll bounce out of bounds. The flag will be thrown. Ricky Preet looking a little bit lost, but actually he knew what he was doing the whole entire time.
Yeah, a little bit lucky that time. But, you know, you make a mistake, you don't compound it with another one. And he did the smart thing by seeing that, hey, that ball looks like it's going to bounce left. And indeed it did. So Norristown's going to have great field position to start.
Then in high school football, that ball will come out to the 35. And a first down for Norristown. 35 is exactly where they started that quick little 52-second drive they had to end the second quarter. Now this is where they will start from to start the third quarter. It's again the men in the backfield, Gordon and Swittenberg. Terrell in motion. Handoff goes to Swittenberg. Makes one man miss, and he'll get out to about the 40-yard line. Number 2, Mike Gallagher, still wondering, where exactly did Troy Swittenberg go? He thought he was coming to the outside. But Gallagher, of course, as the back, making sure he didn't get outside, and that was his job on that play.
And what we're seeing from Upper Merion is if they're able to swarm one of the Norristown offensive players, they're going to try to tackle the ball that time. They were trying to rip it out of Swittenberg's hands, and he was very aware and covered it up.
Stewart back to pass. Looking over the middle for Edmonds. A good strike right there by Audley Stewart to find Edmonds for the first down.
Yeah, real nice throw. And in that case, Upper Merion was playing a formation that looked like included 5 linebackers. Now, one of them was a safety, but he was in a linebacker position. So with Terrell in motion and Edmonds coming out of the slot, that left single coverage on each one of them. And James Edmonds just ran a little hook down there, and Audley Stewart fired it out to him with perfect timing.
I like the first 2 plays that we called right there. Troy Swittenberg, the run to the outside. Then it opens it up for the passing game, of course. It's what all coaches will tell you. And now Swittenberg to the outside once again. Cut back inside. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Not going to catch him. Touchdown. Troy Swittenberg, an absolutely amazing run. Goes about 50 yards for a touchdown. He was being chased by Paul McVoy, and he just knew he wasn't going to get there. A great run from Swittenberg. He went outside, inside, back outside. 6 points right there, 27-0.
And the play looked like it was over after about a 10-yard gain, but Swittenberg with a brilliant cutback, totally against the grain. Even surprised his 2 linemen who were downfield. They had 2 Norristown linemen downfield, and 1 Upper Merion defender was number 25, Paul McVoy, who wasn't able to catch Swittenberg, but those 2 linemen couldn't even get a block out because they were not expecting Troy Swittenberg to come galloping downfield.
Spick go 4 for 4 on the extra points, 28-0 with 10:40 left to go in the third quarter. And what more can you say about this Norristown offense? When Troy Swittenberg breaks those plays, and we've talked about it all year, the only reason those keep happening is because 10 other guys, because we've actually seen Audley Stewart block before, 10 other guys on the field know that he's not down until that whistle blows, and you really have to keep blocking for him.
Yeah, and they hold their blocks well. Brian Gordon's a very good blocker coming out of the backfield. Of course, Troy Swittenberg's normal lead man is number 7, Lou Samba. We've already talked about the receiver's ability to block, and haven't even mentioned Trey Hadrick much, but as a tight end, he's sort of like the 6th lineman, and we've even seen him catch a touchdown pass today. But he's a great blocker, at the point of contact on the line of scrimmage. So Troy Swittenberg really has a lot of guys doing the work for him. And when you have a great guy and a great back like Troy Swittenberg, it's fun to block for him.
McVoy and Booker are the 2 men deep, back at around the 3-yard line. Booming kick from Swittenberg, taken by Booker with speed. He'll come to the 30. Gets out to about the 32-yard line. So now first down for Upper Merion. They'll go with 2 men in the backfield. They'll shift to the other side. Handoff will go to McVoy, and give number 15, Mike Wilson, credit for that when he read that play perfectly. McVoy had a step on him. Mike Wilson with a burst of speed off the end.
And it was a perfect read, and that's what allows you to get into the backfield that quickly. Mike Wilson had a great reaction, but it was more the anticipation. And with McVoy running to the right side, Wilson was there for containment. Had he missed that tackle, that play could have gone for some big yardage, but Wilson just shot off the end to surprise McVoy. It looked like McVoy wasn't quite expecting to see a blue shirt right there in his own backfield.
We have to mention Mike Wilson 2 weeks ago at Hatboro Horseman had a 105-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. Probably still breathing a little heavy from that as the pass out to Booker. It's incomplete. Went straight through his hands. I think he heard 9 Trey Hazard coming straight at him. Probably a good idea that he dropped that ball.
And what Upper Merion is not doing is firing off the line. The Norristown defense, very smart, anticipates very well, and has a great natural quickness. So the Upper Merion offensive line is going to have to fire off a little bit better to contain that quickness. We saw in the first play of this series with Mike Wilson just blowing straight by the tackle that Vikings have not done that so far.
So on 3rd and call it 14. 3 receivers to this side. Bridge will go to the far side. Boy, the little shovel to Booker. He'll keep clawing and fighting. Come up about 4 yards short of the first down. Interesting shovel pass right there to Booker coming through the middle, and he got himself about 10 yards.
And the idea on the shovel pass is to create a little bit of delay. Obviously, it's deceptive. You don't expect that ball to come straight up the middle once the quarterback has dropped back into a passing position, but it's to create a little delay and a little bit of room in that defensive line. In that case, it was successful, although still short of the first down.
Bridge to punt once again. Punt going to the far sidelines. Go out of bounds. Spotted at about the 21 or 22 yard line. The Norristown offense will trot back onto the field once again. The way things are going, Norristown Eagles will move to 9-2 on the season. Of course, early in the 3rd quarter, we can't say anything's definite, but if things stay this way, they'd go to 9-2. A productive season by a lot of people's standards, but for them, you know, they would have rather been playing last night instead of today.
And what you always try to do is improve year to year, and obviously Norristown making it to the District 1 4A finals last year and only the semifinals this year with the first round playoff loss has to be disappointing. But it's a season of change for the Eagles, really, after moving divisions within Suburban 1. Everything was sort of an upheaval, and they really acquitted themselves well by handling the competition that was put in front of them, and then going over to battle certainly much tougher competition come playoff time.
No gain on the play there for Gordon, 2nd and 10. Stewart, the pitch outside to Swittenberg. Gets good blocking. Get to the outside. He's wrestled out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Once again, a big run from Swittenberg. Another first down for Norristown. Absolutely amazing to see when Swittenberg does get to the outside. All the people chasing him, and they never seem to get him short of a first down. He always seems to get probably those 10 or 15. If he doesn't break it, he always gets at least 10 or 15 after the first down.
Well, and there's no wasted motion. Troy Swittenberg's cuts are perfect. They're perfectly timed. He uses his blocks so well, he looks like he can see 3 blocks ahead of him. And without any wasted motion, that's where the positive yardage comes from.
The end around to Terrell. Terrell breaks free. 25-20. He's people wrestling away at the ball. He's in for a touchdown. Ernie Terrell with the breakaway speed. However, the exciting play is going to come back. A hold on Norristown. An Upper Merion player down on the field.
That is a tough time for the first flag of the day. This game has really been moving along very smoothly. I think sort of an indication of the possible lowered intensity of this game, that there haven't been any flags, but that was a bad time for one right there. And you will see holding calls, especially on the end around. With the motion of the play, you can get an end who's chasing that guy down, and one of your tackles or one of your guards who's missed his chip to hold the guy off has to reach out and hold him to keep him from chasing down the ball carrier.
Well, we saw that state championship caliber speed from Ernie Terrell. He is known as a track star at Norristown. Unfortunately, when you're running along the track, you don't have to carry a football log with you. And a great job by Terrell. He had the 4 or 5 guys that got to him and tried to rip the ball away from him. He tucked that ball away and made sure he kept running with it. And we still have a player down in the end zone for Upper Merion, and he appears to be up now. That's number 2, Mike Gallagher, and he gets a nice round of applause as he's helped off the field. Coach Steve Shine coming on to make sure he's okay. Hope to see Gallagher back in the game for the Vikings. It's a little bit more trickery than we're used to seeing from Norristown today. They've run that wide receiver pass. They've run the end around. 2 plays that, with the type of players that Norristown has, they can run those plays.
Exactly. It's the best use of their talent. Ricky Preet obviously is a talented passer, and Ernie Terrell has that state caliber track speed. Strange thing is, Terrell actually got caught a couple times. You could see him just relax and turn on the jets, but with the angles that the Vikings had, they caught him a couple times, and he turned into not a breakaway guy, but a break tackle guy.
Now 1st and 15, Stewart back to pass. He's looking deep for Edmonds. Just overthrew him. He had a step on Paul McVoy, and McVoy at 5'5" was not going to handle 6'2" James Edmonds. Stewart just a little bit deep right there, and he's kicking himself right now.
Yeah, and he was anticipating James Edmonds running by McVoy, which he did, and Edmonds did have the inside track, but it looked like he should have held on to that ball just a second longer. Edmonds was just about to run by McVoy and get the step on him, and Audley Stewart definitely saw his man open and was very eager to unload that ball. It was overthrown by about 3 yards.
How do you contain a guy like James Edmonds with all his side and his speed?
Well, Upper Merion is going one-on-one, and that's not going to work if Norristown decides to run the post like they just did there. You're going to have a safety back there and cover him inside and outside.
Stewart was back to pass, and now he'll run. He gets about 3 or 4. Now it'll be 3rd down, and let's call it about 11.
And when I say inside and outside, I mean you put one guy over the top and behind James Edmonds so he can't run by you like that, and then you let the corner let the receiver run to the safety, and take the inside coverage. So if the ball's underthrown, here comes your cornerback to knock it away or for the interception, and then you let your safety handle the deep coverage. Obviously, Upper Merion does not have that luxury because Norristown's been running the ball so well, they kind of have to bring everybody up to commit to stopping the run. And Norristown has not thrown that much, so you're not going to leave a guy back there just to cover the occasional pass.
Stewart on third down. Get one out to Gordon. He breaks one tackle. He's clipped from behind by number 66, Paul Corliss. Brian Gordon, a nice job, but he only gets about 5 or 6 yards, and it'll be fourth down.
And he had to break the tackle of number 30, Matt Falcone. And it looked like Kirk Berry that time, trying to get Gordon some more yards, ran right past Falcone. And it was up to Gordon to break that tackle, and that slowed him down so that Upper Merion could come and provide help.
Now on fourth down, Trey Hadrick on the punt. Punting to McVoy and Booker. They're both standing around the 17-yard line. Low snap. Hadrick handles it well. He has time. He'll run with it a little bit. And then a booming kick. And Booker will take it at about the 10-yard line. I thought Trey Hadrick was going to run for a first down there. He took about 6 or 7 steps forward. Everybody was just kind of wondering when he was going to get rid of that ball.
I think he saw an open sideline, and I really think he started to think about it and then said, 28-0? I don't think this is the way I want to go out. So made the smart choice and got off a great punt, but with no pressure from the Vikings. He had some room and some time to think. The other thing you have to worry about there is your linemen getting downfield, so credit Norristown for holding their positions because that punt took a long time to get off. And normally you've had your linemen release at that time and a chance for them to be illegally downfield.
So Upper Merion will start from the 10 on the great punt by Hadrick. Boyd looking to the sidelines. It was Audley Stewart and his counterpart number 5, Matt Booker. They both went up for that one, and both of them hit the deck pretty hard. It winds up being an incomplete pass.
And aside from being out of bounds, it's a beautifully thrown ball because Audley Stewart has great athletic ability on the corner, but that ball was thrown just over his head. Booker really had no chance to bring it in because the ball was thrown out of bounds.
And now we see why Upper Merion likes to, keeps the ball on the ground. They do not throw over the middle at all because their quarterback, Jeremy Boyd, does really not have the arm strength to do that. So when they do throw a ball, they'll throw it out to the sides.
But and on the outsides, they don't have the speed, certainly to run past Norristown. So that kind of takes away the sidelines in the middle of the field, and there goes your passing game.
We're now a handoff the middle of the bridge. Breaks 2 tackles, gets himself a first down. Good job by Sheldon Gray to make sure that he slowed down Bridge so that a couple of tacklers could get to him, but give him about 15 on the carry and a first down.
And that's the same formation from which we saw Mike Wilson make that great play for Norristown to start the third quarter, except in this case, instead of McVoy, it was B.J. Bridge straight up the middle. And after setting up Norristown with that first play of the third quarter, giving it to Bridge that time produced some good yardage.
So 5:30 left in the third quarter. Norristown up 28-0. Just joining us has been all Norristown from the first snap. And Paul McVoy is stopped over there on the far sidelines. Jamil Butler was in on that play.
Same play that time went to McVoy, and the Norristown quickness was just too much. Jamil Butler shot the gap, got low, and overturned McVoy. McVoy, the play's too slow, and if Upper Merion is not going to lock up every single person on that Norristown defensive front, including the linebackers Butler and Samba, it's not going to work.
Well, you talked a little bit about Jamil Butler earlier in the game, but he's done such a fine job really leading this defense this year. After losing a leader like Troy Ellis last year, Butler stepped into the spot as the leader at the linebacker position.
Yeah, and a great captain along with Swittenberg, Hadrick, and Benitez, but certainly the defensive leader on the field.
That handoff will go up the middle. Again, for a couple of yards.
And the responsibility is so great as a Norristown linebacker. With the Norristown speed A lot of teams are not going to throw. Norristown has one of the better passing games and has for the past 3 years that you're going to see in the area. So a lot of teams are not going to throw. They're going to run the ball. And the Norristown defensive scheme is designed for the linebackers to make tackles. So obviously, if your linebackers aren't making tackles and teams are running against you a lot, with this scheme, you're going to be in some trouble and you're going to be losing some games. So a real now, it takes all 11 guys to make that work, obviously, but it's up to the linebackers to make the tackles in this defensive system.
It's now on 3rd and 7. Boyd back to pass. Or no, excuse me, he got rid of that ball. Looked like he still had it as he was scrambling away from Mike Wilson. The handoff for a few yards, not enough for the first down, excuse me, and Upper Merion will have to punt once again.
Well, it looked like he had it because you're wondering how the heck did he have time to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Mike Wilson was in so quickly, but that was the design of the play, is to let Wilson get in off the end and then run to the vacant spot.
Bit of a kamikaze mission there from Jeremy Boyd.
It took one for the team that time. Unfortunately, no first down.
Bridge will run it this time on the keeper, and he'll get a first down. The fake punt play working. And when you have a 250-pound fullback at the punter position, that play works.
Yeah, that's no 160-pound guy with a single bar face mask coming at you. That's for sure. B.J. Bridge is a big man, one of the bigger out on the field right now, and has done a real nice job punting. But Upper Merion definitely saw something in Norristown that time, with Norristown not putting the pressure on. Looked like they were setting up the return and laying back a little bit. B.J. Bridge had all kinds of room on the near sideline.
I don't know if many NFL punters who could do that.
You find me a 250-pound NFL punter, and I'll show you.
The handoff out to the far side. Bridge gets about 5 or 6. Well, I know one of your favorites has to be Darren Bennett from the San Diego Chargers, and he's one of the bigger guys. I could see him running with the ball, though.
Yeah, well, you come from that Australian rules football. There's definitely a mean streak in you. You want to run and hit somebody, and that looked like B.J. Bridges' mentality when he took off that time.
And I have to say, if B.J. Bridge ever goes to Australia and plays in an Australian rules football game, I think he'll be able to hold his own.
I don't know, you mentioned the crack of pads earlier. That's not pads cracking in Australian rules. They don't put any of those things on, so different game, same toughness, different game.
Back to football, American football now, 2nd and 5. Now, Upper Merion with their halfback option. And Sheldon Gray and Troy Swittenberg both were kind of looking at each other. Both looked up to the ball. Neither actually got to it. The best thing about that is that it's an incomplete pass. But Paul McVoy dropped back. And Upper Merion was going with a little bit of trickery of their own. Unfortunately, it did not work for them.
Well, Booker beat him. Definitely beat Norristown downfield. But the couple steps that McVoy took into the backfield to set up that throw were the couple steps he needed to get it over the Norristown defensive back's heads. And it was Swittenberg that time converging. It looked like either one of them could have had the interception, but with both of them there, ball dropped to the ground.
The safeties really never tested in this Norristown defense because of the two great corners in Stewart and Swittenberg. Hand off to Paul McVoy up the middle. And Stewart holding on for dear life to make sure McVoy doesn't break a tackle, but a first down for Upper Merion. So under 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Upper Merion moving the ball a little bit.
Well blocked play. I'm sorry, Greg. Well blocked play that time. Number 51, Matt Getzfried, really leveled Kendis Williams and just pinned him to the ground. That play going straight up the middle behind Getzfried.
I was going to say the linemen are probably trying to prove a little something to this Norristown defense that, you know, they can block and they can open holes too, as Norristown's been doing it all day. Boyd will keep this one. He'll roll to the outside. Now he'll throw over the middle, and it's picked off by Sheldon Gray. And Gray now looking to the outside. He's got a couple of blockers, and he is tackled at about the 47, 48-yard line. Sheldon Gray, a great interception, and the presence of mind to tuck that away. Make sure he never lost it at any point, but he was looking to go to the house, though.
Well, that's the first time the safeties for Norristown have been tested, and they certainly responded well. Sheldon Gray, I'm not even sure he knew Matt Booker was behind him, but the ball was definitely underthrown for Booker, and it was pretty much thrown right to Gray. Did the smart thing to make the interception first, and then Norristown, you could see them all just come together and really set up the interception to try and help Gray to the end zone.
They talked about Jeremy Boyd and really not that great arm strength. Having to throw it as you go to the far sidelines and then throw back over the middle, that's a tough throw for any quarterback.
Well, and everything they're throwing is 40, 50 yards downfield.
And Swittenberg breaks by one man. Matt Booker, really the only man today who has proved that he could match Norristown's speed, and he makes sure that Swittenberg doesn't get to the end zone. Touchdown saving tackle, but still a huge gain for number 1. Once again, that pitch play to both sides has been so successful for Norristown this year.
Well, with Troy Swittenberg's vision and the great speed, the pitch play is going to be successful because you give him time to see his blocks, to see how the play is going to develop, and he's a very, very smart runner, and you just give him a little head start to get to the outside, and once he turns that corner, blazing speed.
Flags thrown as a couple of guys jumped before that play.
Yeah, usually before the ball gets handed off, if your lineman is 5 yards downfield, he either jumped a little bit early or he's really driving his man back. And in that time, I think Matt DePiro jumped a little bit early.
You can't say that he didn't want to get down the field a little bit and block somebody.
Well, and there's the difference. Norristown obviously does not want to do that, but their linemen are firing off the ball and giving Troy Swittenberg all kinds of holes to run. He can pretty much have his choice. Upper Merion is not firing off the ball on their offensive side, and they're allowing Norristown to penetrate.
Stewart rolling to this side. He'll tuck it away. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Smart play as nothing really developed to that side, and he just rolled out and might have fallen forward for 1 or 2 yards. Or excuse me, from the 5 yards, he got back to the line of scrimmage. I'm not thinking today, Walt. It's that short-term memory.
There have been so few flags, you forget that Norristown had been pushed back there for a while. Surprisingly, with their athletes, Norristown is not a great improvisational offense. They really run a structured offense well, but Aldi Stewart capable of big plays when he rolls out, but it's not really a rollout passing offense. They do better with set patterns from Terrell and Edmonds.
Stewart on 2nd and 10, another flag. Or excuse me, that's the quarter. Thought there was another flag on that play, but the clock hits triple zeros. So at the end of 3 quarters, 28-0. Norristown adding to their lead that they had at halftime, putting up a touchdown in this 3rd quarter. The stands seem to have filled up a little bit here at about halftime. People realizing that it really is a beautiful day and coming out to the field and supporting the Norristown Eagles.
Yeah, well, it's the field's in the spot such that people can see and say, hey, what's going on down there? And you hear some noise coming down. So certainly the neighborhood is filled with Norristown fans. And it does look like some more people have wandered in here to watch Norristown be well in control of this one, 28-0.